And we're back. I'm your host, BKP, and I'm here with candidate for mayor in Hiawassee, Liz Ordiales. And we just want to know, programming note, and this is all we're going to say, is her opponent was invited this morning or was invited to talk to us and has not taken us up on that yet. So do you mind if I call you Liz? Welcome here.
Please do.
Okay. Liz, thank you for coming down. And what we want to do today is I want to hear, Liz and I have had several conversations on the phone, and I want to hear from her plans. If you, the voters, decide you want her to be your mayor, I want to hear her plans for Hiawassee, maybe some things that have been going on in the campaign that she would like to clarify your way. How about that? I'll say that. Give
Perfect.
Your clarification.
Perfect.
Okay, we'll use that. All
okay,
right?
That's good.
I don't want to validate the clarification, but give your opportunity. Liz, how are you? And tell us a little bit about your background and why you want to be mayor of Hiawassee.
First of all, thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it very much. And thank you for being so timely on my letter. You did fantastic with the response. And I thank you for the opportunity to get on here and explain it to you. My background is pretty much corporate. I worked for AT&T. I want to say I graduated because it sounds better than retired. So I graduated from AT&T after 30 years. And my last assignment, I was responsible for all the Hispanic yellow pages, which I know are a thing of the past. But 15 years ago, they were a hot commodity. And I did all the Hispanic yellow pages for AT&T for the 28 state footprint. And I retired from there and moved to Hiawassee, which is the greatest place in the world to live.
So you've been up there about 15 years, is that?
I've had a home there for 21 years, commuted from Atlanta. I've been full-time 11 years.
11 years.
And when you get up there, you're right in the middle of the mountains, you've got the lake. It's a great place to live. And you fall in love with the spirit of the folks that live there. I worked with Meals on Wheels. I delivered Meals on Wheels for many years. I was the president of the Fire Corps, as you well know. I'm very active with my church. I was a chairman for their fall festival at St. Francis for many years, and I just became very involved in the community, and I fell in love with it. And I'm running for mayor to finish pretty much what I started. I was on the council for a year and a half, post 5, and when our
so you were elected to council. Now, just do me a favor. I'm not interrupting you, but
no, please do.
You're telling me also with them, because I'm going to open up. I've studied the Hiawassee race and your council, but I'm not as up on it. So if for me, you were elected to post 5.
I was elected to post 5
and that was
almost 2 years ago.
Okay,
right. And I served there. Our mayor at the time was, of course, in office. She retired, and I was mayor pro tem. So I took over the mayor's position in April of this year. So I was able to be mayor pro tem for four months. Then, in order to run for mayor, I resigned so that they could put my seat, my city council seat, on the ballot.
Right. Now, is that a requirement to resign if you want to seek? Some counties and cities, if you want to go from council to mayor, you have, so that you're not voting in a way that may be political or whatever. You have to retire to seek that next office, or is that Hiawassee in the charter? Do you have to?
That's where our charter is written. We have a strong mayor charter.
Strong mayor.
And basically, what I retired 2 weeks early so they could put my city council post on this ballot. If not, we would have had to have a special election,
right?
Which why spend another $8,000?
So by the time you retired, they were able to get this on the ballot, and let me just say, there's no additional election cost.
Correct.
Associated with this post being on the ballot.
That's correct. So that was the plan. I figured it would be irresponsible not to do that. What's 2 weeks worth of being a city council member when you can save the city $8,000 in a special election?
All right.
So I resigned, and I am running for mayor.
Why?
I think Hiawassee probably has more potential than any of the smaller cities up here in North Georgia. And for the last maybe 10 or 15 years, we've been very stagnant. We have not had much growth. We have a lot of open storefronts. We're right in the middle of the lakes and the mountains. It's a beautiful place. And I think we are a travel and tourism destination. There's no doubt about that. So we have to develop that. And seeing that it was stagnant, and I bring a skill set that is odd up here. I mean, you don't have too many corporate people that are ready to go back to work to do something. I felt like I could help the town, and that's why I ran for city council, and that's why I'm running for mayor.
Give me one thing, and I have a couple questions because you're really helping me out here. Tell me what I know what a weak mayor system is. Tell me what a strong mayor system is. Explain that to me and the voters.
Great, I'd love to. A strong mayor system calls for the mayor to be the CEO of the city.
Okay.
Runs day-to-day operations, hires and fires personnel, manages everything that goes on day-to-day in the system. It's a full-time job.
So, not to interrupt you, but so if council comes in and council votes to implement something, then they have to back away and let the CEO implement what the council put in place.
Correct. They're policymakers.
Policymakers, okay.
Correct. The council would come in and say, we need to do...
Strong mayor acts as a CEO.
Correct.
Got it.
And then it's definite, in order to do this right, and which is one of the changes that we made as a council, is we had a city manager that was making over $100,000 a year. We had a mayor that was making over $45,000 a year in that same setup together. Our charter calls for a strong mayor. You don't need a city manager. If you're going to be their full-time running CEO of the city, that's all you need. And I think I've proven that I can do that in the 4 months that I was there.
So there was a city manager. When did the council vote to end having a city manager?
January of this year.
January of this year, because you had the
strong mayor setup.
You have a mayor in the 40s and the council and a city manager with a pretty good salary. So you saved $100,000, or you're going to change, not you, but is the city planning on changing the mayor's salary to be the CEO?
We've already changed it. The mayor's salary is $16,990.
Okay.
So you're probably thinking, why do you want for running for mayor? For $16,000 to be the CEO of the whole entire city. And by doing the CEO, you have to deal with water, you have to deal with sewer, we have a police department, we have court, we have the whole runnings of business licenses, signs, ordinances, all of that is part of what that mayor does. That's part of being the strong mayor.
Okay, so what would you say are your accomplishments for city council?
I think as a council, the very first thing we did, and when I say we, I'm talking about me, but we acted as a council to do all these things. I went door to door. I spoke to over 300 people when I was running for city council. And the number one thing they wanted to see is more financial efficiencies. They felt that having a city manager and full-time and a full-time mayor was out of line. And then when you start doing the research, you think, well, I think they're probably right. We saved a lot of money by eliminating that city manager position and by having a full-time mayor there that could do the work. Our mayor did great in the 21 years she was there. She was in her 70s and she was ready to retire. So once she left and I stepped in, you could see that there was a lot of things that needed to be, process-oriented fixed, which we did.
Okay, well then let me say this. It may be a little redundant, but I want to go back because I want to be more specific now. Mayor Liz, okay, let's say next Wednesday or January 1st. Give me 4 or 5 very strong bullet points of what Mayor Liz brings to the council and says, I want to do this, or I would like to do this, I would like to see this. What is your agenda January 1st if the citizens of Hiawassee decide they want you to be their mayor?
The very first thing we need to tackle in Hiawassee is our infrastructure. And I think every city, every small city, you probably hear the same thing. Our water and our sewer departments are pretty much maxed out. They're old systems. So in order for us to even promote any kind of growth, we got to fix that first. We've applied for a $1.4 million loan to fix our sewer system, which is in worse shape than our water department. And from that $1.6 million loan, I was able to, I'm about 95% sure, while I was Mayor Pro Tem, I applied for a $600,000 grant that I'm almost positive we're going to get. We've already passed the state approval. Now it's up to the federal through the ARC. So that'll knock off $600,000 right off the principal off of that. So that's the number one thing we got to do. And then from there, set up a downtown development authority so that we could have all of our storefronts. We all live here because we love small towns.
So Hiawassee doesn't have a DDA, and that's a Downtown Development Authority. Okay.
Hiawassee does not have that. And as you know, I'm sure every city in Georgia has already been authorized to do it. Now, we're pretty small. There's no reason why we can't work with Young Harris, which is right down the street from us, and combine those efforts. They're completely different groups. Young Harris is the cool college, hip town. We're the more retired, be on the lake, riding a pontoon kind of crowd. So to share a DDA person, I think is a good fit, because what would fit in one place probably wouldn't fit in the other anyway.
So we're talking infrastructure, a DDA. Give me the upside of a DDA and why that's important. And give me, as I like to say sometimes, the thumbnail sketch of what is a DDA.
The way a downtown development would work, what we would like to see it do is bring more businesses in town so we can have more jobs. My goal would be to have our city be self-sustaining. Everybody who graduates from Towns County, for the most part, has to leave because they have nowhere to work. So they leave. If you can afford higher education, fantastic. That's the way to go. Go do it. But if you can't, you can work at the Ingalls, you can work at McDonald's, and you're limited. So a DDA would help us bring new businesses into town, create more jobs, and help us to become self-sustaining. Not to help explain it, but I have an extensive background with DDA to the point that it also makes you eligible for different grants. So, I mean, there are grants that cities are not eligible before that they will be if there's a DDA. Now, I'm not advocating a DDA in Hiawassee. That's up to you or your council, or if you get elected and so forth, and your citizens. So I don't want to make sure I'm not advocating that. But sometimes DDA, when it's presented, and another thing, a misinformation is that a DDA cannot bound the citizens in debt. That some people feel that you can go take out loans and you cannot. Right. Correct? That's correct. Right. So DDA, infrastructure DDS, I said 5. I don't know if you don't want to go. Okay, you can keep going. Well, we can do more. No, I want to hear, because I want to say this, and I think you know this, that we've received at our company some opposition research. We'll call it that. Is that what we call it now? Opposition research, right? Everybody's on opposition research, right? So we've received some documents, we've received some emails, and obviously you know that you're in a pretty heated, contested race up there. Yes. So I want to hear, I want the people to get the noise, I call it the noise in elections, out of the way, and let you get out, first and foremost, anything that you want to do as mayor. My goal is to make us a good, solid travel tourism destination for people to come. Once you get to Hiawassee, you love Hiawassee. It's beautiful. It's a great place to live. We can have more homes. I'm sorry to say this. What I picked up is once you get there, because I was there. It's okay, don't take it wrong, but you got to go once you get there. That's the problem. Once you get, you got to go over the mountain through the woods. I'm sorry. Right? You just said once you get. You're right. Once you get there. Once you get there. So what we need to do is make it so that people want to get there. Right. And that's where we're at. As far as the town itself, the people are ultra friendly. We are right on the Appalachian Trail. We are the first big city stop on the Appalachian Trail. We have a hostel where the folks come up. There's thousands of people that come into town. The number one thing you hear about, why do you like us so much? It's because you guys are so friendly. You're so accommodating to us. We're a friendly kind of crowd. So we have to exploit that. Another thing that we've got going on is pickleball. Have you ever played pickleball, Brian? Come on. No, I trust. Let's. I understand. Yes, don't start pickleball. Trust me. I understand. It's the fastest growing sport. It is. I will admit that. But we have. The only thing that I'm not upset, but I'm not quite there yet. I don't know how old you think I am. We'll discuss that after the break. I mean, right. I'm not quite pickleball yet. I mean, come on, really. Really? You're going to put me out there that I'm pickleball age? Let's move along. I played against a guy who was 81 and he whooped me. That's all right, let's move along. But anyway, yes, I understand. I will say in retirement areas that has become a popular, something popular for senior citizens that are retired or not, they enjoy throughout the day, some of their activities, right? Yes. I will say. We have a 14-court complex in Hiawassee. We just had a tournament last weekend or the weekend before. Yes, folks, it is that big, yes. We had over 350 registered players from all over the United States that are coming to Hiawassee to play pickleball. Okay, I want to stay on, and I want to stay focused on why the citizens, and my goal here at FetcherNews.com, FYN-TV, our goal always is to make sure we bring the citizens the most information, let them go make the decision. Right. So let's move on to something else here.
we probably know or pretty close to who would be your city council if elected.
Right.
Do you feel you could work with what we think, or maybe you think, will be the next city council in January? Do you think you're going to be able to get these things through? I mean, there's the what you want to do and what can you get through council. Do you think you can work with them?
Absolutely. I think we've got a great council. Even right now, we have a great council. We have great participation for the majority. We have one person who is, on the fence as far as even attending meetings. But for the most part, we have a great council that we work very well together. I think everybody's on the same page as to moving the city forward. Not big old gigantic growth. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to raise taxes, even though my opponent says that's what I want to do. Nobody wants to raise taxes. We just need to be able to save our financial efficiencies, do it right. For example, before I got on the council, we had collected 96 business licenses out of 201 businesses. Well, why? We had no process in place to do that. I put in the process. You send simple process. You send an invoice out. Guess what? They send you a check back. Before I left office, we had collected 197 business licenses. Now, is $10,000 going to make Hiawassee, rich? No, but that's one efficiency where we were easily able to pick up $10,000. There's many more. By cutting back the city manager position, that's $100,000. Now you're talking big money. Bringing down the mayor's salary from 45 to 17, that's $30,000. Now you're up to $150,000. Now you can start doing things.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a brief break now. We have, you can stick around a minute? Can you stick around?
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to take a brief break because we're here with candidate for Mayor of Hiawassee, Liz Ordiales, and she is explaining to you all the reasons she would like your vote and what she would do if elected mayor. After the break, I want to talk to Liz a little bit about some of the opposition and some of the things we've received, give her an opportunity to focus on that and give her side. How about that?
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Sam, let's take a break and we'll be right back. 2 or 3 minutes, folks.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff. Broken Bowl, located in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge at Sycamore Crossing, is locally owned and operated. Our Simply Noel selection is the largest around. We have a great selection of unique clothing and several lines to choose from for men and women. We carry a beautiful variety of handmade jewelry from Blessed Be and others. All kinds of gifts, starting to carry shoes this fall as well. Come visit us on your next trip to Blue Ridge. We can't wait to meet you at Broken Bowl, located in downtown Blue Ridge. Papa's Pizza to Go in downtown Blue Ridge is the best in the area all-you-can-eat buffet. Call ahead or order online now at papaspizzatogo.com. Use our convenient pickup window for the best in pizza, subs, wings, breadsticks, salads, and more. And be sure to check out our lively game room. We serve lunch and dinner, catering available, take out or dine in. Papa's Pizza to Go in Blue Ridge, proud sponsors of the Fannin County Rebels. The Tupelo Tea Mission is to provide over 80 premium tea blends for tea lovers who are looking for ways to explore new flavors and blends. Come visit Tupelo Tea, located in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge at Sycamore Crossing. Be sure to sample our various varieties of honey and tea. Visit us on the web at tupelotea.com or call us at 706-946-TEAS. That's TEAS. Tupelo Tea, located in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge.
This is my hometown. I mean, most of my family lives here. Many of my friends live here now. I'm hoping my kids may come back and live here one day. They're both at college now. But a lot of people ask me, why are you wanting to get into the craziness of politics and running for council? And, I started asking myself, at some point, you've got to give back to what has been good to you. And this has been a great industry and a great town to be in real estate in, and it's just my time to now give back to the community and help Blue Ridge for the next generation. I think those of us who have kids want to make things better for our kids, and I'm in that same boat. The day-to-day activity in the real estate business, unifying buyers and sellers, negotiating contracts, and at the end of the day, both parties feeling like they're happy and satisfied with the transaction is very similar, that you can relate it to any business or to the council. So one of my strong suits, in my opinion, is I am good at negotiating and compromising and bringing people together. So it's what I've been doing for 20 years, and I think the council needs that voice of reason that can bring people together, that leaves all the personal issues aside to just focus on what's best for Blue Ridge.
Folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. And we're here with candidate for mayor of Hiawassee, Georgia, just north of us in LJ. Liz Ordiales is with us. She's a candidate. She served post 5 for almost a year and a half, close to 2 years.
Year and a half.
Year and a half. Then when the mayor retired, she became mayor pro temp of Hiawassee, and then she resigned her position so post 5 could be on the ballot, and she's asking for your vote now for mayor of Hiawassee. Now, Liz, on the first segment, we went into a lot of the things that you would like to do, a lot of the reasons you would ask them to vote for you. There's been several articles that are written, and let's talk about the franchise fee. Now, let me tee this up. I guess you can correct me where you feel I'm wrong. I don't see me being wrong, but anyhow, we'll back up. Okay.
Cave, no.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's exactly right. So let's rephrase that. No, but anyhow, the state of Georgia says. And when I get done, you tell me right or wrong, and then tell me what your position is. The state of Georgia says that municipalities, I'm going to call it cities, incorporated cities and counties, have the right to charge public utilities what's called right-of-way fees.
Correct.
Okay. And they have the right. They're not mandated to do it. A city or a county could choose not to charge these right-of-way fees. But every city and state has the right. 100 plus counties, because we have 100 and some counties in Georgia, do that. Hundreds of cities do that in the state of Georgia. They take, I'm going to say, advantage of having some revenue to come in from right-of-ways for public utilities. Public utilities would equal EMCs, phone companies, cable. Those are your right-of-ways.
Correct.
Now, my understanding is the city of Hiawassee did not have a franchise fee right away for public utilities on the books. It was found it's not on the books. You were not charging it.
That is correct.
Okay. Recently now, the city council voted to charge the franchise fee.
Correct.
Tell me where I'm wrong.
So far, all good.
Okay. I'm going to use the word advocate, so be careful here, okay? As mayor pro temp, you advocated for the city to put in the franchise fee language into their charter or whatever.
Ordinance,
right?
Yes, sir.
You advocate. Then when it came time for the vote, you then were already resigned. You
Correct.
did not vote on it.
Yes, right. I was no longer.
But you brought it to the table.
I did.
You brought it to the table. You
did.
introduced it to the council. You introduced it to the public.
Correct.
You then resigned, but then the council voted on it.
Correct.
Council voted on it in a special called meeting.
In 2 meetings.
Okay. Special called?
One was, I'm not sure if both were. I got to tell you the truth.
Okay.
One might have been our normal work session.
All right. So it was voted on. Now, my understanding is, although you had resigned, you somewhat campaigned and advocated to get it passed, even though you did not vote.
I initiate. Let me tell you how this all started.
So I'm going to go up to there. Am I close?
You're close. You're perfect up to there.
Okay, take
Now,
off.
While I was mayor pro tem, I received a letter from NGN Networks, North Georgia Networks, who wanted to come into the city of Hiawassee to provide fiber optic service. And they wrote a letter to us asking us, what's your franchise fee? I was mayor pro tem when that happened.
Okay.
So I investigated. I called our attorney. What is our franchise fee? Well, look at your franchise ordinance. We don't have a franchise ordinance. So then within that letter...
So you were addressed by another company to come in to do fiber optic.
Asking us what our franchise
and it's
fee
not
was.
It's not unusual for these companies to know in advance
Correct.
what is everything when I come into the city that is going to be out in front of me as hard cost.
Right.
Okay.
Now, in doing my research, still as mayor pro tem, I found that there's 535 cities in the state of Georgia, of which 524 collect franchise fee. And it seems that the only ones that do not are part of the Blue Ridge EMC area. Fine. We went on, drew the ordinance, had a first reading, had a second reading. It was unanimous by the entire council, which is where the first rub came in when I first contacted you. Because originally in your article, you said Jay Chastain voted no. He did not. He, along with everybody else in the council, agreed to do this ordinance. Now, further research shows...
Wait, can I get in there?
Sure.
When you agreed to do the ordinance, is it possible, and we can't speak for anybody else, that council members felt they were putting the ordinance on the books, but then there was another layer where you had the opportunity to enforce it? So there's the I voted to put it in the ordinance that Hiawassee now has a franchise fee.
Correct.
I know recent counties that went through this. I've been through recent counties that voted to put it, that had it in there, but then voted to enforce it. So is there not two steps in that possible, that you could have it in there, but then not enforce it? So could a council member think that you're putting it in there update? I don't know.
I don't think so, because the ordinance read that it would become effective December 31st of this year, and we would receive our first payment.
That's in the ordinance.
That's in the ordinance.
Okay, all right.
March of 2018. So very clear, and at that time it was the right thing to do for the city. It's a great revenue stream for our city.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question. You know, when I'm going to say like this, and I'm going to look right at you and say, when I'm sitting over here and you're sitting over there and you're saying it's a great revenue stream for our city, that comes from somewhere. And that's
Sure.
on the other side. So that's I think why it's fired up, is when people say it's a great revenue stream. I've heard that. I've gone to not just Hiawassee. So in fairness to you, in fairness to your city, I've gone to others and I've heard politicians say it's a great revenue stream. And I sit back there and I take my head against the wall and I say, yes, this is the pocket that you keep getting the stream. Go ahead.
Well, sort of.
Sort of.
I'm not passing on a fee to you. I am telling Blue Ridge EMC that if you are going to use our streets to run your power poles and your power cords and your wires so that you can charge me for my electrical, then you should be paying the city for the use of the right of way.
Yeah, but wait, let's stop there, because I don't disagree with you, but there's a side of me that's almost cover. And let me say it like this, okay? Do you not know that they're not going to absorb that? Now, let's just say it like this. I have listened to you. You're with AT&T, mm-hmm. So I'm going to talk to you in a way like, come on, you know the day you do this,
right,
that John Doe down the street's going to pay the $55 a year or the $52 or the $47 or whatever.
Right.
You know that though.
Right. And I'm going to come back to you and say, come on, Brian, every single utility in Georgia pays for it. AT&T, Bell South, Georgia Pacific, Windstream.
They don't pass it?
I don't know if they do or not, but
they pay
city.
Right.
They pay the city. So,
but they pass it to the consumer.
Yeah, they probably do, and Blue Ridge EMC might too. Maybe they should lower their electricity cost a little. Maybe they should lower their customer service, which is $19.53 per person for the privilege of being able to flip your light switch. Maybe they need to lower that by 4%. I don't know. I don't know their answer. All I know
what
is
you're saying is, let me see if I got this right. You're saying you as a council got it right.
I believe we did.
Okay, that's what you're saying. You got it right. And you're saying this morning that, look, and I like round numbers so we don't get confused, because I can get confused easy. So you're saying if I paid $100, let Blue Ridge EMC figure out how for me to pay $100 this month, but you did the right thing by the city. That's what the council did. So if they can adjust $2 down for this and $2 down for that, let them do that. Let them tell the citizens that they're raising it, not you. Is that I hate to say logic, but it's
all the stand from my stand on it is they are using our right of way. If you have a rental home and people live in it, are you going to charge them?
I guess so, yes.
Okay, well, they're using our streets. Windstream has been paying a franchise fee for years. Why hasn't anyone else? Everybody in the state, every utility company pays franchise fees. Now, do they pass it on to their customers? Maybe they do. And when we spoke with Blue Ridge EMC a couple of Fridays ago, one of their board of directors says, it's the law. We have to follow the law. We're going to pay the franchise fee. Do they have the margins to pay for it? I don't know. That's where it becomes I don't know their financials. I don't know how they spend their money.
The state of Georgia allows every city and county to charge
and we were one of a few that don't. It doesn't make any sense. Why aren't we in an even playing field with the other 525 cities in Georgia?
What do you say to people that I think I've given you the opportunity to be thorough on it.
Yep.
What do you say to people that says, but you could call it anything you want, but it's a tax? What do you?
Well, it's not a tax. It is a fee.
I understand. I understand fee and tax, but the voters, what do you say to them? That
I say to them, it's a fee that we are charging Blue Ridge GMC, and they are in turn passing on that revenue as a revenue source for them to pay us. But we are not taxing anybody. We are asking Blue Ridge GMC to pay us rent for using our property. That's what it is. Now, if they choose to pass it on to you, like most cities, most utilities do, okay, that's their choice.
I think the argument I've heard on this, Liz, is when I say you in the pronoun, it's the council.
Sure.
The argument I've heard is the council knew the consumer would end up with this.
Honestly, I did not know that. I felt that Blue Ridge EMC could look at their financials and see if they could absorb it.
But you were with AT&T.
Yeah,
and I know you did I did
Yellow Pages.
I understand, yes. But utilities.
AT&T pays it.
Bell
South pays it.
But that's why when I look at you and when you say, well, I really didn't know, I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute.
I did.
And when I said you, I'm talking the whole entire council.
Sure.
Like, okay, I just took. Let me say it in this terms, because this is the only language I know how to use. I don't care what happened. Somebody got $55 more from me this year. I don't care. Okay, you call it a fee. I told somebody the other day, we get into arguments, and this is not just Hiawassee. I want to be clear to everybody, this is not Hiawassee. This is the state of Georgia. Seems like every time we turn around, from the state to the county to the city or somewhere, we see a fee, okay? Because tax is ugly. It's an ugly word.
Sure.
So a fee, a use fee. We see business license go from $75 to $125. Mm-hmm. This is all over the state. This is not highway, and it's to provide services and all these things we hear. But the reality is, on our side of the table, if we put out $1 here, and the next thing we know, we put out $2 for the people. You can call it what you want, but you took an extra $1 out of my pocket. Now, not you. I'm trying to be clear.
Right.
So you telling me when you put this on the table, because you did, you said it earlier, you're the
Yes.
one who put it on the table.
Mm-hmm.
You advocated for it, even though you were resigned. You advocated that you felt this was a good thing, and you said yourself a revenue stream for the city.
Correct.
Okay. That you and the council did not take into consideration or did not vote on it based on thinking the citizens were paying for it.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
Now what?
I know it ended up being that way, and the average from what Blue Ridge GMC quoted us would be about $55 a year.
It ended up being that way.
Yes.
People feel. Feeling is one thing. People feel it was going to be that way from day one, and that the council knew it. But
No.
that is
not the case.
Revenue stream. How much a year does it bring into the city?
I don't
Average.
know. I don't know. If we just look at what Windstream does, Windstream pays about $4,000 a quarter. So we're looking at maybe 25 just on Windstream. I don't know how it works out for Blue Ridge GMC because I don't have their financials.
20 grand a year, 25.
I'm
20,
thinking
20.
minimum. That would help us tremendously. We can do work in our streets. We need to fix our streets. We don't have the money for that. We don't have the money to fund that.
Yeah, but Liz, I just have to tell you, when I'm sitting and I'm hearing somebody running for office and say, we don't have money for this and we don't have money for that, and it'll help us do this and help us do that.
Yep.
The other side is there's people who say, well, I don't have enough money for this and I'm trying to raise my kids and things like that. So I know it's a tough balance right now.
It is.
And I know it's hard to sell me, the voter, on what a fee is versus a tax. And, and that's why I'm giving you every opportunity to do that.
And in essence, again, we go back to the number one, 98% of the United States cities, more than 98% in Georgia, but in the whole United States, 98% of the cities collect franchise fees
I'm not going to disagree. I'm not going to disagree.
All we're trying to do is the same thing everybody else does. Put us on the same playing field. That's it for that. Now, is it going to pass on to their customers? Clearly, they've proven that, and they said that it's going to happen. It's $1 a week.
Have you talked to them about adjusting their side?
They have not come to us with any. They just said that they were not going to do the ordinance. We passed it on to our attorney. Our attorney responded, and basically it's state law that they pretty much have to.
So Blue Ridge GMC said it will go through.
Well, the board director, Roy Perrin, who was at our meeting on Friday, said that it would go through. Now, as far as how much it is, I really have no clue. I don't know what their financials look like.
Okay, so but they're not discussing whether they'll absorb it. Has it been? Have they publicly said it will show up on your utility bill?
I believe that's the route, the plan they're going. Yes.
Okay, I have some things, but let me give you an opportunity to say, what would you say, because this is how we met, you felt there were inconsistencies, we'll call it that, in some articles that our company wrote. What are any of the other issues?
Thank you. The very first thing is, it was reported that Councilman Chastain voted no for this. Incorrect. He voted yes. You can look at the paperwork, talk to every single council member. It was a unanimous decision to go.
And I think we have an article that says.
Right. But originally you said, well, this guy said he didn't want it, which that is inaccurate. That was wrong.
Yeah, but
you fixed it.
We went back to the person and we double checked, and we even got a statement from the councilman.
The second thing
that is out there. That is for our viewers.
But if I wouldn't have brought it to your attention, it probably wouldn't be out there for your viewers.
May not have.
Okay.
That's just something we're always going to wonder.
Well, sure. That's fine. And then the other thing that we talked about is Mayor's Park. Mayor's Park, originally it was reported that I was objecting to Mayor's Park. Let me tell you why there was an objection to Mayor's Park. Mayor's Park is a piece of property that is not in the city. It is in the county. It's adjacent to the city, but it's not in the city. So when we filled out all the paperwork to get our funding for DNR, then they put in a magnificent boat ramp. And it's used all day long. In the summer, there's 20 cars there that have launched their boats from there. It's a great asset to our community. All of the paperwork said that this park was part of the city. It is not part of the city. We tried, the prior leadership tried to get that area amended to the city. It was refused by the county to give us that piece of property. So the objection came to, all of this says that you're in the city. We're not in the city. This park is not in the city. So I felt that it was my obligation to make sure that if we were going to get funding for $100,000 worth of work, that we certainly had it all correct. And that was a big objection. The other thing to look at is we've already spent over $100,000 in that park. Who doesn't want a park? We're making it a nice dog park. Could we have spent that in maybe fixing our sewer system? Maybe. We could have. It's a big investment. And we're not even anywhere near being done with Mayor's Park. We still have to spend another $100,000 easy to get it to where we need to get it. So the objection initially was, let's get this right, because if we're going to submit formal paperwork to the state in order for them to give us grants and funding, let's make clear that they know that this is not inside the city limits. It is not inside the city limits. That was the number one objection to all that.
What is your, well, when you say that's the objection, because what comes back to me is that you objected to the park, and it was really framed in you objected to the park, and now you don't object to the park.
No. The objection was, let's get it right. Let's make sure that if we're going to get funding and we're going to do everything correctly, that our paperwork reads as such. If you look at the ordinances, I signed to approve Mayor's Park once it was right. Once they said that it is adjacent and not part of the city limits, the paperwork, as you know, dealing with anything with letters, DNR,
right,
DOT, EMC, is all very convoluted. So if you read through that tedious over 100-page document, it was very clear that it was saying that it was within the city limits, and it is not. So once we cleared that up, look at the ordinances. I signed that.
Well, we don't have time this morning because we're going to be short on time, but I've had several documents, emails sent to me that go a different direction. And okay, so but I have had several go to a different direction. City attorney. Does the mayor, do you approve a new city attorney every year, or reapprove the city attorney? Because that is my pet peeve, is the cost of legal services, and this is me personally, to citizens. I have watched cities and counties and have watched legal services, and I have gotten some concerns about Hiawassee legal services. So how long has the city attorney been there?
The city manager that we terminated in January served as legal counsel / city manager. So, and that's how that justification for his salary came in. So when prior to us terminating that relationship with the city manager, we hired a city attorney from Beaufort, Georgia. We interviewed 6 different attorneys. None of the attorneys in town, number one, had any interest, nor had the experience of any kind of municipal law.
Right.
So we interviewed folks from Cartersville, Beaufort, Toccoa, different areas. And we selected who we thought was the best candidate, which is Mr. Thomas Mitchell. And I believe he has done a spectacular job. We have gone through the separation package for the mayor, which was very convoluted, the elimination of the city manager position, 5 ordinances that we needed, sign ordinances, ethics ordinance, derelict building ordinances, all of that. He has been an extremely great asset to us since we hired him in, I want to say, in November, December.
Does Hiawassee have zoning?
No zoning in Hiawassee.
Would you advocate zoning as a mayor?
I think there is a fine line. Yes, it's commercial zoning, yes. If we're going to be a travel and tourism destination, our main street, our public access, what people come into town to see, I think needs to have some kind of restrictions. As far as what you do in your home, that's you. I'm not going to have anybody traveling.
So residential like an R1 and R2, those kind of things. But you couldn't do commercial zoning without zoning the city. Could you not? Because you'd have to have an R1 and an R2, and the one would be for single family, one for multi units, and then
we haven't even gotten that far.
I understand. But as you were talking about building and things like that, and ordinances for that, as far as the attorney, I just immediately thought about does Hiawassee have zoning?
No zoning, and I think it's something that is needed. Again, if we're going to be a travel and tourism destination, which we are, that it is what it is. We are that. I think we need to have some kind of guidelines in place for our commercial area, for our main street. As far as like your home, it doesn't matter. I mean, you pay taxes, you do your own thing at home. That's no problem. I mean, there are nuisance laws in our ordinances currently. If you have all kinds of weird things going on, there is a way to address it. But as far as like zoning, it doesn't exist. And commercial zoning is what would interest me, is making sure that we are attractive to the people coming into our town.
What about let's take just a minute. What about this were president of the Fire Corps.
I was.
What about the multiple pieces of information that have been sent to me? And I don't want to get the gentleman's name wrong. I have it here somewhere, his resignation letter. What about the Fire Corps and the accusations? We'll say the accusations have been made, and I think you know that. And I think we sent you a copy of that.
Sure.
Because immediately when you brought it up, I said, hey, there were some accusations, and you have a right to see them.
Sure.
Address that.
Gladly. We took over. The Fire Corps was established in 2008 by a group that had nothing to do with us. In 2012, I was approached by the then chief, Mitch Floyd, to help us move forward with the Fire Corps. They needed revenue. Our Fire Corps revenue budgets from the county is very small. So he contacted me to see if I had any interest in helping them. I said, gladly. So I go to help them. Within the next month, the entire board, the entire board of the Fire Corps resigned. I became president, Mr. Ken Bryant became vice president, and we set up a whole new board, started brand new from scratch.
You and Ken Bryant started from brand new scratch.
Well, Ken Bryant, Dwayne Olson was the secretary treasurer. It was a brand
new
slate. He was the vice president.
Right.
When we started our initial meeting, this was in 2012, and I forgot about that letter, to tell you the truth, Brian. I forgot all about that letter. It's been 5 years.
I understand.
We will move forward and started assigning different projects. We are 100% volunteer organization. 100%. Nobody gets paid for anything. We doled out. I did the sales and marketing. That's my background. Mr. Bryant took on the website. Mr. Olson took on the insurance, the bylaws, that kind of stuff. Everybody had their own assignments. 3 months into this work, we get an invoice from Mr. Bryant saying, you owe me for doing the website and for maintaining the domain. Well, at that point, we didn't even have any money in the bank account to pay anybody, much less somebody who was on the board as a volunteer. When we refused to pay him, he resigned as vice president. So it was clear that he was in this for financial gain. We went to see an attorney.
But that's not what his accusations are. And I understand. I'm going to stay with the word accusation, but that's not what his accusations are in the emails that you and I both have, and his and I'm not validating anything, but from fundraising to minutes to and I think we both know what has been sent to me, what I sent to you, and I have a lot of other documents, solicitation documents, and just so many things that he finds as a reason that he resigned, and he names you, and we agree. Okay.
Along with Rob Moyer, Judith Moss, B.J. Peters, who has passed away.
Yes.
And Buddy Sumner. I have the letter, and this right here is a response to every single one of his accusations. And I'm going to leave this with you so you can read it.
Okay.
But bottom line, when he felt that he wasn't going to get paid, and we hired an attorney, we didn't hire. He did it pro bono. We went to see an attorney. He wrote him a letter. He never responded to the letter. Today, after 5.5 years, he still has that domain hostage. If you look at www.towns, I'll spell it out, townscountyfirecorps.org, this letter shows up.
He posted his resignation letter on the website.
Well, that's not his website to begin with. That's the Towns County Fire Corps website. When we sent him a letter from our attorney, he never responded, never did anything, still has it. We didn't have the funds to pursue it. It would have cost us thousands of dollars to pursue it. So we dropped that. We just now have tcfirecorps.org.
So you're saying his accusations against you, which we have on our website, his accusations against you are false, and they really come from deep-seated upset over not being paid for services he feels he rendered to the Fire Corps?
Correct. And if
that's what you say, right?
That's what I say. And if you contact anybody else who is on that list that he addressed this letter to, I think you'll get the exact same opinion. Most of these folks are still in town. With him, like I said, B.J. Peters has passed away. But most of these, go contact them. And that's where the gist of my discontent came from your group, is nobody contacted anybody. When you printed that...
Wait a minute. Now, I will say this. Now, I don't know. Our writer in Towns County, and I've had a lot of discussions in a meeting yesterday, there has been several times that I think she attempted to meet with you.
Never.
I have an email from you yesterday where you emailed her and said you had a real busy week.
Well,
and you
this
could,
week.
Okay, no, you just said never.
Come on.
Well, no,
and I didn't say I wouldn't meet with her. I told her I can't do it this week.
Well, the election's next week. Maybe it's like I don't want to talk about it before the election. I'm just saying.
And I'm here with you.
I understand, but what I'm saying is you continually, where our writer's concerned, continually say, well, we didn't attempt, or we didn't follow up, or we didn't get your side. And I think I understand where you're coming from. That's why you're here today, because you didn't feel you got your side. So I said, hey, come on down.
Sure.
But the point is you say that, and then you said never, and I'm not trying to stick on that. But just yesterday, I know I have an email where our writer sent you an email and said, I would like to talk to you about Hyde Park. And you said, Mayor's Park. Mayor's Park, not Hyde Park. Mayor's Park, right?
Right.
And you said, I have a real busy week.
I do.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
I'm almost there.
Okay.
You said, I have a real busy week, maybe next week, right?
Yes.
But you had time to come see me.
Because you had called me before.
Okay. All right. But I'm good. I'm good. Here's
Here's
all right. When you take, like, let's say when you take our company, and you're being very nice about it. I'm not saying we're having a great conversation, but when you continue to say where you found this and you found this, I just want to be clear that there maybe has been some attempts, plural or one, to talk to you.
Just this one.
Okay.
I've met with your
opportunity.
I've met with your attorney at Ingalls. I've met with her at City Hall. Any other time she has asked me to meet with her, I have met with her.
Okay.
Now, when this letter came up at that Friday meeting, it was a Wednesday breakfast meeting.
Movers and shakers or something? Because
Wednesday,
I hear movers and shakers.
Movers and shakers are Friday.
Okay, all right.
Wednesday was the sheriff's breakfast meeting. I was there. When all of this letter and all this stuff came up, I was there the entire time. Mr. Chastain was only there 10 minutes, but she found time to go talk to him for those 10 minutes. Wait, I'm not done. I'm not done.
No, you don't have go ahead.
I was there the whole hour. She never came to me about anything. The next Friday, this was Thursday. Friday morning was Movers and Shakers. I was there the entire hour for Movers and Shakers. No questions.
Okay.
None.
All right.
And then Friday afternoon, you post this article. She had ample time to come talk to me. I've never said no to her and I didn't say no to her this week. I just told her this week is really busy. And it is. I mean, I drove an hour and 15 minutes to get here to you.
I understand that. No, I understand.
So I'm trying to do the best I can.
Got it. Move along.
Moving on.
How about this? What about if somebody says, Liz, very smart. Let me frame this together. Liz is very smart, because I call a lot of people. You don't know who all I know, do you?
Oh, I guess not.
I called a lot of people.
They think I'm smart?
Yeah.
Somebody
said Liz is very smart. Liz can do some very good things for Hiawassee. This is what was said out there by somebody that I spoke to. But Liz can be a little pushy. And Liz can push a little bit, and sometimes maybe she pushes too hard. What about that? And I probably am not the first person that said that to you, am I? Because there's a lot of things that it's not the first time somebody said it to me. So I'm gonna be.
I like the fact that the people think I'm smart and that I can do good things. I think I've proven that I can do good things in Hiawassee. We've put in new sidewalks. We've repaired broken sidewalks. We've hired a 5th police officer. We've put in crosswalks at the post office. I mean, I think I can justify what we've done. As far as being pushy, I don't know about pushy. I think I'm driven.
Okay. And we could change that up.
The number one thing is I'm going to listen to what the citizens of Hiawassee want. And if it makes sense and it's a good thing, I'm going to push to get it because it makes sense. The sidewalks, they have been talking about sidewalks for 5 years. Does it make sense to have sidewalks? Yes. Did we have SPLOST money to make sidewalks? Yes. Was I able to get a grant to do sidewalks? Yes. Well, then let's do it.
But let me ask you this, okay? I am feeling so comfortable with our conversation and enjoying it.
Me too.
You know how to get the grants. You know how to do this, and you know how to. I mean, if the voters decide. I have a question that might sound petty.
Okay.
Why did you put your campaign banner on that fire truck?
Well,
that is a violation of state. Why did you do that?
Well, first of all, I was unaware that it was a violation. I am part of the Fire Corps, which has created $250,000.
You know, you put it up, and it was only 10 seconds after that I had a picture.
Okay, what about the picture that you printed with Jay Chastain wearing the city, the county logo on his shirt, endorsing Mr. Deering? Is that illegal too?
I'm not for sure.
Oh, maybe we should check that out too then.
Well, what about you sending emails with the city's logo on, and you're not officially in the city?
It says candidate for mayor, does it not?
Read it.
Read it. The city is not trademarked. I checked before I did that.
City's not trademarked?
It's not trademarked. I checked before I did it, and it says candidate for mayor. Now, the minute I was called and they told me, hey, that sign might be a problem, did I take it down?
I don't know.
Immediately it was down.
All right.
I don't want to cause any problems.
But
I just feel like I am so in touch with the fire department. $250,000 I've raised for them minimum. They have received training, equipment, you name it. We've bought whatever they've needed by the instruction of the fire chief. We've bought. That's what we bought. That's what we've done.
Okay, tell me again, so that way out there it could. I guess I don't like to do impressions, but they could know out there. I'm giving you an opportunity to say both sides. So you say Mr. Chastain did what? He wore a city.
Look it up on your website.
At the same.
He's wearing his uniform while he's on the picture, saying that he is endorsing Barry Deering, which it bothers me not at all. I don't care. But if you're bringing up it's illegal to hang that sign up there for 5 minutes that it was up there, maybe it's illegal for him to be wearing that uniform and endorsing. Does that mean the county is endorsing Barry Deering?
I don't know.
I don't either. Maybe we should check that out.
I know that fire truck said.
Well, I took it down. I took it down. I swear, no malicious.
No, and it's not. No, but it's not you.
Took it down,
I don't know if you're picking that up. It's not you because. Let me tell you what I want you to take away is I don't care who's sitting here.
Mm-hmm.
FetchYourNews.com and myself. I'm only interested in the citizens and the taxpayers' money.
Absolutely.
Period. Okay.
Right.
And the only thing I'm interested is whoever decides they want to run for office needs to understand they're asking to serve.
Absolutely.
The people.
Yes, sir.
And that you need to take away knowing about me. It doesn't matter if it's Liz Chastain, a congressman, they know it.
Absolutely.
They know me well enough to know there's two things: taxpayers' money and willingness to serve.
Correct.
And I get very upset when taxpayers' money is not a good steward and somebody doesn't understand that they're asking to serve the citizens.
I am absolutely 100% with you. For the 6 months that I worked as Mayor Pro Tem, I got paid nothing. Zero. Now, if that's not a sign of wanting to serve, come on. We're talking 10 hours a day for 6 months.
Okay, we did.
Well, wait, sorry. Let me back it up. I was still getting council person pay, which was $200 a month.
We got a 20-minute interview. We got an hour out of it. So you got 15 seconds to say anything you want to close.
Okay. In closing, I want to say that my platform is to do what is best for Hiawassee. It is not to raise taxes. That has never been part of my platform. It is to continue to do what I've already done. And as far as like serving the people, that is my intent. Full-time mayor position to save the salaries and put those in the places where it needs to be put. As far as my opponent, I've heard he's wanting to do this as a part-time job, bring back the city manager. Not a wise move when you can do it by yourself.
Liz Ordiales, candidate for Mayor of Hiawassee, has been with us for the last hour. Like I said, here on FYN TV, FetchYourNews.com, when I do these interviews, all candidates are welcome. All candidates are invited, and we do not exclude anybody. We have asked the questions, and I hope today this video, whoever views it, sees us, our company, as always giving you, the voter, the most information to make your decision next Tuesday. This is the end of our show. We'll not be coming back right now. We'll not be coming back. So we're out of here, Liz.
Thank you, sir.
You get to say goodbye with me.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm out.